The Pigeon and the Thief. On a cold and dimly lit street, a haggard lady walked alone one Saturday night. This beggar wandered in search of any form of kindness, having been forgotten and almost completely alone. Only a pigeon standing near her provided her any company. It was so dark, in fact, that she had no chance to see the formidable thief before he accosted her at knife point. He asked for all the change in her pockets that she had garnered from panhandling that day. After pleading for her safety, she relented and gave the brute every coin in her tattered pockets. Out of frustration, he struck her, having spent so much energy for so little money. As he walked away, the pigeon curiously followed behind him. He awoke the next day in his run-down apartment to a very peculiar sight. There was the pigeon sitting on the windowsill, inside the apartment. He tried to shoo it away by opening the window, but it didn't move. He thought it was odd, but he went about his business. He called his friend RJ to buy something to calm his nerves. Dude, I need to get some of that medicine from you, man. You know what I mean?
Who is this?
What do you mean, who is this? You know who this is.
I don't have you in my phone, man. You're wasting my time.
What? Irritated, the thief went to the store to get a pack of cigarettes. Walking behind him was the pigeon, following very closely. The thief ignored it and entered the store. He opened his wallet, but to his absolute shock, his ID, his driver's license, and all his credit cards were nowhere to be found. Nothing but a few crumpled bills. He used the money to buy a pack and started to return home, calling his ex-girlfriend to see if she came by the apartment. I never leave the house without my ID, so you need to tell me what you did with it. My credit cards, too.
Look here, I don't know who this is, but you need to stop playing on my phone.
Aisha, what the hell are you talking about? You can't just take something from me and act like I don't exist.
Who do you think you're talking to? I don't recognize your voice. I've never been to your house, thank you very much, and I'm hanging up now.
This was the last straw. Cigarette in hand, he drew a long drag and fumed. I'm gonna make sure she never talks to me like that again. He opened up the rideshare app on his phone. The app, however, refused to accept his password. He tried to use his email app to reset it. Nothing. He tried to use his bank app to check his balance. Locked out. After a long, long silence, he stared at the window, the pigeon staring right back at him. This is screwed up. Open up! A booming voice demanded behind the door. It gave the thief a shudder. He opened the door to find the landlord scowling at him. Oh, scared the hell out of me. Look, I was just gonna come talk to you because who the hell are you? What do you want? He did not need to hear this. Are you crazy? I've been living here for 2 years. Hey, I'm not in the mood for games. Tell your friend that he owes me the other $375 tomorrow. The thief, completely forgetting about his ex-girlfriend, decided to get his mind off this insane situation. He grabbed his knife to make a big score. I almost forgot about paying the other half of the rent, he said to the strange pigeon, still following him. What the hell am I talking to a damn pigeon for? He crept around for a bit in a nearby parking lot and spotted a lady with a large purse stumbling at an ATM. Slowly he slipped behind her and carefully whispered, I got a knife. Just take out as much as you can from your account. She did as he said, and he slinked away under a viaduct. Excuse me, sir, said a cop. Could you come over here a minute? The thief readied his knife behind his back, turning slowly. He stepped closer, a relieved smile curling his lips. He almost wanted to thank the cop for snapping him out of the madness that seemed to be everywhere. But before he got a chance to say a word, sorry to trouble you, but did you see anyone suspicious come through here? I swear he went this way, said the woman. And I got a good look at his face. He would have been about your height. The thief was dumbfounded. A prickly sensation of what he would never admit to be panic smeared his brow like the beads of sweat underneath his hoodie. Out of desperation, the thief forgot himself and said, "What is this, some kind of trick? You saw me a second ago, lady, right there." What? I've never seen you a day in my life. Listen, if you don't know who did it, we'll just move on. They both passed him and continued into the viaduct and out of sight. What's happening to me? Who the hell are you looking at? Huh? With the pigeon in tow, he confusedly walked home and found the landlord's door. All right, I got your $3.75 right here. $3.75? Hey, I don't take money from strangers, pal. Who is this from? You gotta be kidding me. It's from me, you dumbass. You just asked me to give it to you an hour ago. You're gonna stand there and lie to my face, son? I just came from 3F, and some other random friend said he'd take care of it. Now I gotta deal with 3 of you bozos? He took the $3.75. Tell all your friends they need to keep me in the loop next time. The thief walked back to his apartment, staring at the engraved 3F perfectly legible on his door. He trod inside, and the pigeon found its way to the windowsill. Just staring. In a sudden fit, the thief grabbed a lamp and flung it directly at the bird. Impossibly, it merely bounced off its wing. He stormed to the window to knock it outside. He tried scaring it. He tried physically picking it up and dropping it out of the window. The bird wasn't even fazed. It simply flew back to its resting place on the sill, completely calm. The thief tried calling his sister. If anybody would understand what's going on, it'd be her. But again, he heard those 3 dreaded words.
Who is this?
Celia, use your damn caller ID. It's me. But I can't understand what the hell's going on.
You showed up as unknown, you scam artist.
Day after day passed like this. The thief would rob someone, get away with it, and the cycle would repeat itself. He'd struggled to explain to his landlord why there was always someone else living there. The only constant, the pigeon, would sit in the same place every day and followed him everywhere he went. No one to share his thoughts, his fears, his joys, which were few and far between. And for a while that was good. But he gradually realized how futile it is to keep friends, lovers, or family when they forget everything about you the moment they talk to someone else. Pretty soon he started to get desperate. He couldn't own a car without the hassle of driving without a license. He couldn't go to work because no one knew who he was. He was a constant wanderer, having gone who knows how many weeks without a decent conversation that lasted longer than a few moments. He stopped caring about his appearance, his clothes, his actions. And one day he got very, very sloppy. He stumbled into the presence of a small older gentleman one afternoon. A little drunk, the thief unleashed on him. Hey, I'm me. You understand? I'm not some filthy animal. You hear me? I can prove it. Today's my birthday. You gonna sing for me? Sing happy birthday for me. The old man was dumbfounded. Just leave me alone, please. Don't hurt me. I'm sick of hearing people say that. Leave me alone. But be careful what you wish for. The thief took out his knife. Now, are you gonna sing for my birthday? Or not?
Step away, sir,
The officer behind them said.
Put the knife down on the ground, nice and slow.
On the way to the station, the officer looked to his partner, Marie, as she drove to a red light.
Won't be seeing as much petty theft in the area when they book this guy. He must have been a real...
The officer turned to stare at the thief. Frank? You okay? Said Marie. How the hell did you get back there? What happened to the other guy? Marie craned her neck around to look behind her. The thief, finally able to see her face, couldn't decide whether to be infuriated or ecstatic. It was sobering, to say the least. You! It's you! You've got something to do with this. Buddy, I have no idea. It was you that night. No, I know your face. You were that homeless woman I robbed back in February. The one with that damn pigeon. Marie, shaken to her bones, turned and sat tightly forward in the driver's seat. She then hit the gas as hard as she could, skidding past a honking truck and ended at a nearby curb. Her weary hand unlocked the car doors. Frank, could you leave the car, please? Marie, what? Frank didn't have a chance to finish. The look Marie gave him was as pallid as it was when she reappeared at that station so many weeks ago. He left the car. You listen to me, pal. Only one person in the world could possibly know about that, and you aren't him. So who told you? Just look out the passenger side window. Almost instinctively, Marie reluctantly peeked out of one eye, barely daring to see. Her old fears and his nightmare were realized. There stood that same ugly, stoic bird that filled their hearts, and who knows how many others, with a singular dread. Marie could barely breathe. Weeks of psychiatrists and specialists were not enough to deny this, not anymore. Now do you believe me? Again, the doors were unlocked. Marie kept her eyes forward. You have to do exactly what I tell you. Frank is going to uncuff you. And you had better get as far away from me as possible. And you have to stop fighting. You have to let someone else harm you. You have to stop being brave. Do you understand? He didn't, but he was just glad that someone could remember something about him. Frank did as he was told, seeing as how the cops couldn't recognize him by his face anyway. And the thief slipped away into the streets. After a week, the thief lost his apartment when the landlord claimed that he, quote, allowed pets and strangers into his unit after abandoning it. With no one to vouch for him, he wandered the streets every day, every night, barely willing to steal enough to eat. And he found himself walking down a dark street in search of any form of kindness, forgotten and alone, with only the pigeon to provide him company. And that's when he heard a voice.
Hey, man.
He turned and was immediately met with the brute force of a brick to the side of the head and the pain of the ground meeting him. He felt hands rummaging his tattered pockets and heard the sound of triumphant footsteps. In agony, he rolled over to check his wallet. And a smile crept across his lips. A smile that thief hadn't had since that cursed Saturday night. In his wallet, all his money was gone, but his ID and every last credit card was there. And with a chuckle, the thief pointed toward the shadowy man, who was completely unaware that he was being followed very closely by a strange, quiet pigeon.